everyone, my name is SIlvany and I'm with Indonesian Lantern. Today we're at the University of Pennsylvania looking into their Indonesian language class, and we're interviewing professors, students, and what it's like to take the class itself.
Saya Gesyada Siregar, biasa dipanggil Gesya. Saat ini aku mahasiswa S2, graduate student in Master of Behavioral and Decision Science at Penn. I'm right now working as a part-time lecturer, part-time dosen kelas Bahasa Indonesia untuk beginner at Penn. Aku dari lahir di Medan, orang Batak dan orang Gayo, but I work and live previously in Jakarta. In Penn, art and science is located under one school, so School of Art and Science, because art and science historically from Renaissance and even like in Indonesia, artist is also scientist, right? Scientist is also artist. So I think that I've been seeing across different fields, across different disciplinary, art is always been a way for them to start the conversation, right? Even as simple as you making your PowerPoint slides, you're making your deck, you're making art there. So I think that art is always everywhere. And I think art has always been like the kind of language we use to make a point, to make a conversation. We have one of the class in Penn Museum, so be able to see Indonesian arts with our own eyes, not just from slides. I think that's so come up with like activities and games for that. I think was one of the most rewarding experiences.
Hi, my name's Nicole Donnelly, and I'm a sociology major at Bryn Mawr College. I'm taking Indonesian 100 at University of Pennsylvania, and what made me interested in taking this class is I'm half Indonesian. My mom was born and raised in Jakarta, and I didn't learn the language growing up, so it was always a lifelong goal of mine to learn it at some point. And when I saw that there was an opportunity at Penn for me to take it, I jumped at the opportunity. And this class is really amazing, and it's very informative and also engaging. Like, we're here at the museum today, we're going to interact with some really awesome materials. Something new that I've learned about Indonesian through this class is the process of how like batik prints are made. I've been wearing batik my whole life, and I never really knew like the process, like with the wax art and then the dyeing like multiple times. We watched a video in class, or a documentary, and it was very informative and very fun, and it just gives me a whole new perspective and appreciation for batik as an art form, and also just Indonesian culture in general. I think that this class does a really good job at teaching me about the culture of Indonesia, like beyond just learning the language in particular.
The reason why I'm just like learning all about Indonesia, like the Indonesian language, is because when I was young, I had a lot of trouble speaking normally, so the doctor suggests to my mom to only speak in English. So now here I am. I'm able to speak English. I'm in UPenn, right? And so I could finally try and learn Indonesian.
Nama aku Ata, aku kuliah jurusan Master Behavioral and Decision Science di University of Pennsylvania. Gimana sih aku bisa sampai ngajar di UPenn? Ini pertama kali karena reference dari teman. Sebelumnya ada teman dari Indonesia bernama Yolmita yang mengajar di Bahasa Indonesia di UPenn, tapi beliau sudah habis masa baktinya. Kemudian dari tim Penn Language Center approach aku dan juga Gesya untuk ngisi sebagai instructor di kelas Bahasa Indonesia di University of Pennsylvania. Itu pendekatan yang aku pakai buat ngajar di kelas itu lewat seni budaya, kemudian perbandingan kultur. Jadi kayak, oh kalau di Indonesia seperti ini, kalau kalian di kampung halaman kalian atau tempat tinggal kalian di US itu seperti apa. Jadi mereka juga melihat relevansinya gitu, karena mereka kebanyakan berasal dari keluarga yang orang tuanya adalah orang Indonesia juga. Jadi aku juga berusaha untuk coba kalian tanya ke orang tua seperti ini, seperti itu. Jadi kayak berusaha mendekatkan mereka ke rootnya mereka gitu.
Something you notice students usually struggle when learning Indonesian?
So I think it's the prefix of me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Yes.
Burka.
And then we just have that lesson last week, and because like let's say there is the KTSP letters where KTSP will be like melted to the prefixes, like so there is no konsumsi, there is mengonsumsi, right? There is no there is no mentatap, so like how to explain that in a way that makes sense, because we just like, you know, we never being proud about it. It's just come naturally, but also like to try to find the structures. I think that was like the most difficult one, the challenging one, but we try to find a way how they can get used to it of these like prefixes. And the second one is how to explain concept of time, because we don't have past, present,
Right.
and future tense. We just say tadi, dulu, nanti.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think the last one is to how for them to think not using adalah for every sentence.
Yeah,
Because in English we
right.
always say this is MR, but like sometimes we just like not saying itu adalah kopi, it's
Yeah,
kopi, right?
yeah.
So how to break this English grammar to also Indonesian grammar.
Yeah.
Recent happened, we use tadi, right? Because the English word for this is gonna be like recently I display abecili madrasah at class, right? But in here we say tadi saya bermain abecili madrasah. So we don't have the play, you know, like the past form of like playing with the like.
And so, as Indonesians living in America, we know that our culture is so diverse, yet its popularity doesn't really match how known it is. So, why do you think that is the way it is, and how can we be self-advocates?
First of all, we can see like from the history, for let's say here, we can see the history how America has always been tied to Indonesia, and we can see like the amount of representation of different people, different cultures, different immigrants coming here always ties to political history, right? I just feel like our own presence being here is part of that advocacy, right? Us being here, us being friends to our neighbor, us being friends to our community, and then that introduction to always say, hi, I'm Gesya, I'm from Indonesia, and then like they will be like, oh, what is Indonesia? I think that little conversation is always part of the advocacy, right? It doesn't, of course, there is like different ways to do the advocacy through festivals, through like cultural diplomacy. Of course, there is that part, but also don't forget the daily life conversation that we have with other people. So, for example, we go to the grocery and there is Indomie, and then like I always tell my friends like, hey, Indomie is like
Indonesia.
yep. Really glad to be here in Philly, and especially being connected to a lot of like Indonesian community. So I've been telling friends back home, like actually not really homesick in terms of food. Not a lot. The amount of food we have in South Philly, and also even here in West Philly, like Urban Sushi is just like a few blocks away from Penn, and then I've been like, you know, that's like my go-to place. They are like my uncles and aunties. So like whenever I have tough times at school, I want to have meals, and then they're there to take care of me. So like the amount of Indonesian community I met here like makes me feel like home. So like, because usually the struggle is food, but no, I'm not struggling about food in here. I'm glad.